Welcome back, subscribers, and welcome new viewers. I appreciate and thank each and every one of you who have subscribed and who like and share my videos, because that helps to circulate all of my videos so that it can get out to more and more individuals just like you who are seeking and needing this information. So thank you all. And today I'm reading from my Karmic Astrology book, viewer request number 15, and it is going to be North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. Okay. And also, before I start, any of you who would like a copy of this, please send me an email. Leave me a comment if you like, but I need your email address so that I can send you the copies. Or you can just go ahead and send me an email. All of my information is down in the drop-down box below, all of my videos. And if you'd like any interpretations of your natal wheel, I have no problem doing that as well. Again, the information is down below in the drop-down box. Okay. Again, Aries North Node, Libra South Node. Here the soul is learning the lessons of self-consciousness on the most elemental levels. Experiences in prior incarnations did not permit the self to form as a singular identity. Now the individual is paying the price for the indecisiveness of his former lives, as well as learning how to rise out of his confusion by developing one-mindedness. Highly susceptible to flattery, he goes far out of his way to do the things he believes will please others. But because he has not yet himself gone through ego identification, he becomes confused as to what course of action to take. Always trying to balance those around him, he finds himself to be the eternal referee between two or more opposing ideas, people, or conditions. Standing in the middle, he assumes the role of the buffer, trying desperately to bring harmony to both sides at the same time. From moment to moment and day to day, he seesaws from one side to the other, hoping that he will never be required to take a definite stand. In prior lives, he judged his happiness by the successes or failures of those close to him. Now he continues to identify his life through others. His confidence can easily be shattered, for he hardly yet knows who he is. By confusing the collective needs of others with his own unrealized desires, he makes himself susceptible to long states of depression. Still, no matter how drained he feels, he continues this he continues this past life pattern of seeking out people with whom he can identify. And again, if you don't already know, our south nodes, they are given to us at birth. They are programmed into our subconscious. So we don't know that it's even in there. But what it feels like, and we're just automatically going to do this because it feels like our south node is going to get us what we need and what we want out of life. Again, that's our south node. It's a program. And Those of you who are now listening, this is your specific program. Which you're bringing this out into your conscious awareness now, out of that subconscious, because each and every one of us are going to cycle. We're going to keep doing these self-nodal things. It doesn't matter. Throughout our whole life, if we never are able to bring it out into our conscious awareness so that we know what this program is, or that we even have a program. Okay, this is your program. That's all it is. And so now you're getting acquainted with it so that you can once and for all have the free will, have choice to do something different and put an end to this cycle so you can move forward and really truly get your needs and wants met by getting to know you. That's beautiful. And I want to say too really quick that unfortunately this author, he was learning too. And so if he comes across, he does and will, and if you might notice this, if you haven't already, he might come across a little harsh. And he simply didn't completely understand, because my point of view, that when I read this for myself too, is there is no guilt, there is no shame, there is no blaming of any kind. So if you hear any hints of that, unfortunately that's the author. He didn't know everything either, but this still is the best book that I have found to get to the point and speak the details of each and every one of our south nodes. Okay. At times he develops resentment at his inability to pull the opposite parts within himself together. Yet he is so used to entertaining solutions to contrary ideas that he keeps creating more. He is attracted to music and the arts, feeling comfortable in an environment that is gracefully delicate. When circumstances around him become coarse or brittle, he loses control. He doesn't like to live alone, but desires to be left alone. For his own peace and tranquility, he must learn to overcome his enormous sensitivity to all the disharmonious needs of those around him. He does this best by dropping the attitude that he must fight for his very survival and refocusing his attention on what positive thoughts help him to develop his own identity. In past incarnations, there was great sacrifice to others, which was not fully appreciated. Now the soul reincarnates with traces of resentment at not reaping the rewards of its efforts. This brings out the contrariness of the Libra South Node and actually prevents the individual from finding his real self. The North Node can come out only when the South Node is brought to the highest possible karmic level. Thus, this individual will achieve his greatest potential after he learns to serve willingly, without desiring any rewards beyond his own self-growth. He was impressionable in other lifetimes. Now he spends at least the first half of his life coping with the leftover residue of his own gullibility. As the years pass, he becomes an avid reader, which helps him to crystallize his thoughts. Still, there are so many past life habits of indecisiveness that he finds it extremely difficult to make concrete decisions. Always liking to see both sides of everything, he decides, no, excuse me. Let me read that sentence again, I apologize. Always liking to see both sides of everything, he divides himself in half at every crossroad. When these divisions become so painful that he can no longer bear his own indecision, he starts to reach for his Aries North Node. And that makes sense because Libra, what is Libra? Libra is balance, always looking at both sides of the scale, trying to balance yourself or balance other people. And that's your South Node. Ultimately, he learns not to be afraid of taking a stand for what his higher self senses is truth. He reaches this by teaching himself to be an individual rather than an extension of somebody else. Still, he must build on his prior incarnations, which taught him how to love rather than hate. Thus, as he starts to find himself, he must still be mindful of how his newly discovered assertiveness influences those close to him. For short periods of time, he will have to isolate himself in order to gather his strength. His biggest lessons center around learning how to make his head rule his heart, for he still melts into easily at the slightest attention. Of all the zodiac, this individual has the least amount of past life experience in examining himself. Now he must find out who he really is. In the current life, he is destined to make the transition from the reaper to the sower, whereupon every thought becomes a creative seed for his new beginning. The house which contains the South Node shows the area in life where too much past identification with others inhibited self-development. The house which contains the North Node designates the area where the self is now experiencing its birth. Once a new sense of self-identity is achieved, this individual will feel like Columbus discovering America. And the most amazing part of his discovery is reaching the awareness that it was there all along, but he never knew it. That is so beautiful. Okay. Well, that's all I have for now. If you have any questions, or again, if you would like a copy, send me an email. Leave me that comment with your email address. Okay. Until next time. Bye.